All right, so in the NBA, the Eastern Conference playoffs are set. Despite sitting their starters and primary role players, the Celtics beat the Magic yesterday, dropping Orlando to 8th in the East. The Raptors clinched the 5 seed in the East with a 25-point win over the Nets. This is their first playoff appearance since 2022. The Raptors will take on the Cavaliers. The Hawks are the 6th seed. They'll play the Knicks in the first round, a familiar matchup in the playoffs. Most recently, the Hawks completed a gentleman's sweep 4-1 in their last meeting in the 2021 first round of the playoffs. And so we focus in on that one a little bit. Knicks and Hawks recently played. That game had to go to overtime. The Knicks did come away victorious, but these two neck and neck. The Knicks, are they on upset alert against the Hawks here in the first round of the playoffs, Stephen A?
They could be, but I'm not going to pick that. I mean, listen, I'm a New York Knicks fan. It's the playoffs, and I'll be damned if I think we're going to go down at the hands of the Atlanta Hawks. It better not happen. I'm just going to say that. It better not happen. It better not happen. I'm going to say that right now, okay? The Atlanta Hawks are an up-and-coming team. No disrespect or shade whatsoever to Trae Young, but they look a lot better without him. Obviously, they placed it in the hands of Josh Johnson, who's a burgeoning star in this league. The brother can play, and I got that part. You see some of the talent that they have on their squad. You can't ignore it. I get it. They've got size, they've got athleticism, and most importantly, they have absolutely, positively nothing to lose. Plus, they've been formidable since the All-Star break as well, so we can't ignore all of that. But the New York Knicks, who've been in Game 7 of the conference semifinals 2 years ago, Game 6 of the conference finals last year, predicted to be in the finals this year. Listen, we understand if Detroit shellacks you. We understand if Boston gets the better of you and avenges what happened to them last year. But you talk about an epic failure. It would be if the New York Knicks lost to the Atlanta Hawks in the first round of the playoffs. You cannot go home for the season because the Atlanta Hawks sent you there. After the job Tom Thibodeau did, with Mike Brown now in as the head coach, we might not like it, but damn, we can kind of understand if you end up falling to a Boston, a Detroit, who obviously wants vengeance themselves and has beaten the hell out of the Knicks this year. Or even to a lesser degree, Cleveland, who's suspect defensively, but offensively, they're prolific. We can somewhat understand it. Nobody wants to hear nor see that the New York Knicks were sent home in the first round by the Atlanta Hawks. If that happens, I believe heads are going to roll. I believe trades are going to take place. And I believe I wouldn't put it past James Dolan to make a change with the head coaching spot. I'm not saying that Mike Brown deserves that. I like Mike Brown, and I know he can coach. I'm saying you can't lose to the Atlanta Hawks in the first round. Oh, hell no. That cannot happen. That happens, I think heads are going to roll, and they should. No way in hell that should happen, and I don't believe it will.
Stephen A., I have to uncomfortably report that the Knicks have drawn the toughest pathway in the Eastern Conference. The way this all fell, it just didn't fall in their way. They could have had the Raptors, a team who they have crushed. They played the Raptors 5 times this year because of the play-in or the in-season tournament. They beat them by 108 points in those 5 games. They just played them on Friday. All of those, all the players played. The Knicks won by 17. That would have been a much more comfortable first-round opponent than the Hawks. Then it's the Celtics. And look, the Knicks were 3-1 against the Celtics. They can look you square in the eye and tell you that they can beat them. They beat them in the playoffs last year, but that is a harder draw than Detroit, even though I know Detroit has dominated them in the regular season. It would just be, it's a tougher mountain to climb. Atlanta is a formidable team. They are better than the 6th seed because they were really like an 11 seed for the first 2 months of the season. And since then, they've played like a top 4 seed. So they're sort of masquerading as a 6. That makes it a little tougher. They have some perimeter size, Shea. Dyson Daniels has some size, which is what you want against Jalen Brunson. He was just 11 of 26 on Friday. But overall, Jalen Brunson is a load to stop in the postseason. But they do have perimeter size that will be a good matchup. I think this is probably headed for a 6-ish game series. And as long as the Knicks don't give a game away, I think that I would say about the Knicks in 6. But it's not going to be a simple series. And frankly, a 3-6 matchup shouldn't be a simple series. So I favor the Knicks, but they have to be on point from moment one in this series. They can't let a game slip through their fingers. We sometimes see higher seeds let game 1 or 2 slip through. It's not that big of a deal. The Knicks can't afford to kick a game. If they make a mistake and hand the Hawks a game, they'll be in big trouble in this series.
Let me say this to you. I said Josh Johnson. I meant Jalen Johnson. My bad. Brother can play. I like his game. I can't say enough about Alexander Walker coming over from Minnesota and the job that he has done. I think he's been a welcomed addition to their squad, deserves a lot of credit. Good kid. I think Shea Gilgeous' cousin, if I remember correctly. I mean, the bottom line is that I got a lot of, I like what I'm seeing from them. You see experience like the McCullums of the world and others. You like what you're seeing. I get all of that. I don't give a damn. You're the New York Knicks. You had championship expectations. They can't go down the toilet via a first-round loss to the Atlanta Hawks. Okay, it cannot happen. If that happens, heads are going to roll. I mean, a couple of cats expect to be traded. Head coach Mike Brown, right. There might be a conversation. Say what? What'd you say?
What were you gonna say?
I think you're right. And I think if they don't get to the conference finals, that could be the case.
Yeah, I think,
but it's certainly going to be the case if they don't get out of the first round. Yeah, Shea, I'm going to emphasize it one more time, albeit redundantly. You cannot get sent home by the Atlanta Hawks in the first round when you walked into the season with championship aspirations. If they were facing Jalen Brown and Jason Tatum, and somehow, some way, this was a first-round series, as bad as that would be, it would also be understandable. It's the Boston Celtics. It's Jason Tatum. It's Jalen Brown. Makes perfect sense. You understand? Cleveland, you got Harden and Donovan Mitchell and Mobley and Allen and those boys. Detroit, up and coming, number 1 seed throughout the year. Bum rushed you 3 times. We got it. The Atlanta Hawks. Good team. Nice young talent. So, you cannot be sent home by the Atlanta Hawks in the first round. If that happens, expect trades in the offseason and expect the new head coach to be coaching the New York Knicks next season.
Ooh, okay. Yes, I agree. Technically, the Knicks seem to be more deep. They seem to be better defensively. However, you never know when it comes to the Atlanta Hawks. They are 29-15 since January 7th. That's when they traded away Trae Young. This is the 7th best record in that span in the entire NBA. Let's stay in the East now, because yesterday the spread between the Magic and the Celtics was enormous, and yet still the Celtics found a way to win. How bad was the Magic loss to the Celtics yesterday? What do you think, Wendy?
This was a freaking disaster. This was a freaking disaster. Let me tell you, Stephen A., what actually happened in this game. So Boston was sitting its top
I watched it.
7-ish guys, 8-ish guys.
Yep.
So in an honoring of how well he played this year and was full of injuries, Desmond Bane, who was traded for in the preseason, they played him the first 6 minutes of this game. It was his 82nd start. He started every game. There's less than 20 players in the whole league that played all 82. Only a handful started all 82. Mikal Bridges started all 82 for the Knicks. So Shea, they played him for 6 minutes. They pulled him out. And that was it. That was supposed to be it. He didn't play the rest of the first half, didn't start the second half. The Magic just believed they were going to win this game. And they actually could have gotten into the playoffs, into the 6th seed. It wasn't likely to happen, but technically it was on the table. They could have gotten as high as the 6th seed. And if they win this game against the Celtics, who are on one knee here, they at least get home court in the play-in. And then the Celtics showed why they have become the favorite in the Eastern Conference. Because throughout this season, Joe Mazzulla has put responsibility onto role players and held them accountable, and they have accepted that accountability and played like they had big roles, and that's what happened in this game. Their role players, Luka Garza, Ron Harper Jr., Baylor Shireman, who is going to have a significant role for the Celtics in the playoffs,
Garza
started playing and started hitting threes. Garza was incredible in this game, and they brought the Magic to their knees, Shea, to the point where they had to call Jalen Suggs back into the game in the fourth quarter. And they, after the game, had some explanation that maybe this was always going to happen. No way. There's no way they thought he was ever going to have to play. Their game plan reflected it. Their mindset reflected it. And look, they ended up coming back on it in Boston at the end of the game. Joe Mazzulla is he's like a football player on the sideline, Stephen, like in a three-point stance. He's chewing glass over there, coaching every second. And you got to respect the way the Celtics approached the season. The TD Garden crowd, they probably were really bummed that they weren't going to have a full game. And then they get this, and they're on their feet down the stretch rooting for their team. They were. It was exactly why the Celtics are where they're at and exactly why the Magic are where they're at. And it was a huge embarrassment for Orlando to have it go down this way.
You're absolutely right. I watched the entire second half of this game. I was going back and forth between that mess. I'm sitting there watching this, man, and I'm going like this. What the hell is going on here? How in the hell are you losing this game if you're the Orlando Magic when you consider, that Boston sat damn near everybody? You're supposed, Paolo Banchero, I'm a huge fan of his. Love this guy. But I'm like this. Could you get him some help? I saw Suggs hit a big-time three-pointer late in the game, but the point is this. You're looking at the Orlando Magic. By the way, a team that was riding a 5-game winning streak, and remember this, Shea and Wendy, biggest reason for it is their performances in the third quarter. In the third quarter, you're shooting like 55% from the field. You're averaging over 34 points over the 5-game stretch. You're doing your thing. And what happens yesterday? Yesterday in Boston, they get outscored in the third quarter coming out of the locker room at halftime. They get outscored 42-20. 42-20. And you have an opportunity to avoid being an 8th seed and potentially avoid being a play-in. And this is what you do. So it just reminded you why we've been talking about Detroit and why we've been talking about Cleveland. We've been talking about Boston and New York and to a lesser degree even Atlanta. But barely a peep has been mentioned about the Orlando Magic. Why? Because of performances like yesterday. Just when you've got a shred of belief in them, just a speck of belief in them, something like that happens. It was an inexcusable loss, without question. And I like the coach, I like Mosley and what have you, but yesterday was not their finest day. And then you're talking after the game about how, they hit some tough shots and we got to clean up our communication and pick and roll coverages. Who the hell wants to hear that in game 82 of the regular season? We got to pick up our communication in pick and roll situations. Wendy, how you feel about hearing that on the final game of the regular season? This ain't December. This is April. What the hell are you talking about? We got to pick up our communication. That stuff was supposed to be worked out months ago. So I'm like, this is not good. It's not good at all. And I don't know. Listen, right now, looking at the Orlando Magic, chances are they might not even make the playoffs. Chances are. They could beat Philadelphia, but I've seen Joel Embiid average 35 in a series against the Knicks on one leg. We know what Paul George can do if he gets going. We know what Tyrese Maxey and VJ Edgecombe can do. I'm just looking at the team overall, no matter who plays for Philadelphia, because you never know what the infirmary they are. I don't even know who's going to be available for them. But the point is, damn, you find yourself looking at the Orlando Magic and asking yourself, when the hell are y'all going to get over the hump, particularly when you sent all of those picks to Memphis to get Desmond Bane? You were supposed to be better than this as a team, and it's just disappointing.
Meanwhile, Joe Mazzulla has led the Celtics now to a top 2 finish in each of his first 4 seasons as the head coach of Boston, which is pretty remarkable. Coming up here on First Take, are the Thunder or Celtics, speaking of, more likely now to get to the NBA Finals? Someone